Right, welcome back to another code talk. Yeah, sorry about not getting one out last week. I was focusing on trying to get more lore out of the way, doing research on countries. What ended up happening is I only got 4 countries done last week, which is going to be the first 4 that I'm doing here, so that's why you didn't see anything. So this week I had more time to do research, and now I've done most of Europe in the process, so yeah. Anyway, I did promise to talk more about Russia. So the end result so what happened with the timeline is that in the process of there being a larger um, attempt at a socialist revolution in Germany because the SPD got kicked out, so they radicalized. The end result is that when they tried to do the Treaty of Versailles, well, the original German government had to ask the Allies for help with the revolution because they couldn't handle it themselves. So the Allies came in and did that, and as part of a side effect, the League of Nations became more anti-socialist with the result being a greater level of international cooperation when it comes to trying to deal with socialist revolutions. Among other things, yeah, that happens to be the Russian Civil War. That's the major one. The end result is that the Russian Civil War ends up lasting half a year longer due to more and better organized support to the whites, and because one thing led to another, among other things, more draconian measures among the Reds to keep the military under control. End result is that eventually you just have a giant soldiers uprising from all the cruel things that the Reds did to try to keep them under control. And with this sudden uprising, yeah, the Reds lost power. So, and there's lots of little shifts and changes. For example, a lot more of the world is independent. Central Asia, Transcaucasia aren't under Russia anymore. Plus the whole intermarium thing. Anyway, so the first 4. First, there's Japan, which is about the same with some slight differences. For example, they own Transamore. So imagine how the country looks, well, how Manchuria looks in TNO. That's about right. It's not quite correct, but it's about right where the border is. Yeah. There's also not Radio TNO, Radio Anarchy, where there's a bunch of anarchists moving around a radio station broadcasting anti-governmental messages. Then there's China, where a lot more of the Reds ended up going to China because they were sent into exile by the loss of the Soviet government to the Soldiers' Revolution. Some of them went to Mongolia, others went to China. As a result, they had more influence in China, and supported the left KMT government. It's better than the right KMT anyway. So as a result, the left KMT ends up becoming important. Then there's Italy, which I did do Italy. Well, okay. Next is Spain. I did do Italy afterwards, where the attempted 1934 October Revolution, which did occur historically, it did work along the coastline of Asturias. That was it. However, with greater anarchist successes and goading and popularity in general, it worked quite well. The economy collapsed in 2 weeks, and the government collapsed 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after that. And then, fearing what would happen if their own radical unions started getting ideas, France invaded, with the help of Portugal too. So, yeah, Third Spanish Republic in 1936. With a lot of, while they were Reds, at least they were better than the French, sort of a mood. Italy is also extremely similar, but has a very strong hatred of France. In this timeline, France has done a very good job of making a lot of enemies out of their neighbors. Yeah. Right, so after that there was Transcaucasia, which is independent, the three countries that make it up, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia. And the three split a month afterwards, just like they did historically. However, since they're not invaded by Russia, who else would invade them? Probably Turkey and Iran, and they would probably work together too on this. So they ended up needing to work together in order to survive, and one thing led to another, etc., etc. And they're actually starting to become much friendlier. As for Austria and Hungary, which is, I think I've actually managed to get, well, Turkey is sort of similar, same with Iran, it's just that there's more opposition because of this defeat. Anyway, so we're now at the video with Austria and Hungary, so I finally managed to catch up. I believe that was... yes, okay. So Austria and Hungary still have the dual monarchy. However, just like in Germany, the monarch doesn't have any power whatsoever. Honestly, it's started to turn into a habit that I've been making somewhat cursed-looking international organizations, I guess. I mean, the dual monarchy's still around, but about as effective as a wet piece of string. Yeah. So Austria goes the same way as Germany. It's called Little Germany for this reason. A dominant conservative government that started to deal with the rising fascist movement. Hungary is a Little Italy, previously parliamentarian, and then picking up a fascist movement. Then there's Czechoslovakia, which is, well, word for word, basically OTL with some notable effects. Among other things, they're completely terrified of almost everyone around them because everyone's got reasons to go after them. There's the Germans, the Sudetenland, then there's the Osle with the Poles. You've got Carpathian Ruthenia, which is Ukrainians. And Hungarians have been acting loud and all about, we need a correct triad and we will do anything to fix it. So, and then there's also the minority troubles themselves that a lot of them want autonomy or worse to defect. Right, and then the last country I worked on today, although there is one little addition to Italy that I did forget, which I'll get to after this bit, which is the industrial aid from Britain. Yeah, so the last country is Finland. One of the things that happened in 1932 is the Lapua movement, which was a nationalist movement that quickly drifted off to fascism, and its successor shifted even more and more towards fascism, picking up things like corporatism or anti-Semitism. So, you know, lovely far-right attributes. Yeah, so one of the things that was tried was a coup, or a putsch, by the Lapua movement. In this timeline, I've made it so that they succeed. So yeah, Finland's a fascist dictatorship. Hooray. Anyway, I still have more stuff to do, but I didn't have time for that today. I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye, where we'll get to more of Europe.